Good evening and welcome to the Rock Paper Hand Grenades. I'm your host, Joshua Solomon, and with me, as always, returning from his triumphant secret mission is the Honorable J.P. Marzullo. How you doing, J.P.?
I'm doing good. Yeah.
You got a report for me?
I forgot it, so I'll have it next week. I promise you that.
When you're out on special assignment, you have to come back with a detailed report of all of the communists that you threw back over the state line.
It's a pretty lengthy report, though.
Well, it better be lengthy.
It's going to take some time. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have it for you.
So yesterday I missed the Red Sox game, the Red Sox-Yankees.
Yeah. You didn't miss much.
I was too high. I was higher than a kite. But
better explain that to the viewers. I think
I come down off my high, and I was able to watch the
fight, the Bruins fight,
the Bruins third period. So
yeah.
I get high a lot lately, but it's not good. I used to do it a lot in my 20s, but then I quit. And now I've been doing it again, and it's burning through. I'm wasting a lot of money. It's expensive.
Yeah.
And, the worst part is
the landing.
My wife,
when you're coming down.
Exactly. My wife took pictures of the two of us getting high together last night.
Oh wow.
And now those pictures are on Facebook.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
So
you sent a SWAT team over.
I don't know about that. So.
Don't listen to a thing he says, folks.
It's all true.
But it is. He's been flying a plane. That's what made him high. And anyway, yeah, glad to be back.
Glad to have you back. You look really good.
Thank you.
And I'm happy that you're back, and I'm happy everything's okay.
Yeah, it is. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Tonight we have a special guest, a brand new player on our show. We have a lot of returning guests. Mrs. Kathy McGinn, artist, philanthropist, activist.
Correct.
And you're most recently famous for quite a nice piece of artwork that we have there up on the screen. So thank you for coming.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. I appreciate the opportunity to spend some time with you guys.
Yeah. Right,
so tell us. Go ahead. Tell us how this came about, and what you're doing.
Sure.
To help the conservative Republicans.
Sure.
And also Turning Point. So.
Absolutely. So, I split my time between Georgia and New Hampshire, and I was currently in Georgia doing an art event, and I got a phone call from a friend of mine. I was at my art storage unit, actually, and I got a phone call that Charlie Kirk had been shot, and I absolutely devastated. I have been a fan of his for quite a long time. I appreciated the message that he was bringing to the next generation as far as conservative values, traditional marriage. Just, he meant a lot to me personally. And when I got the phone call, I literally broke into tears. And I was so moved at the loss because it signified so much more than just one person being shot. It was our ideas being silenced. It was the inability to have civil discourse without deadly consequences, and that really hurt me to my soul. So I did what I always do when I have big feelings or an emotional reaction. I go to the canvas and I paint. Unexpectedly, the painting went viral. I don't know if you remember, but at the time, everyone was talking about it. Everyone was posting about it, and my day job, I work in a university system and very liberal, and it's never been an issue. We don't talk politics, we do our job and we go home. And as I was sitting in my office, I had two women standing outside of my office saying they were livid that the governor of Georgia had lowered the flag to half staff at Charlie's death. Yeah. And And then they went on to say that he basically deserved to die, and that he brought it on himself because of his controversial views.
Oh, jeez.
And I was absolutely horrified. I guarantee you they've never listened to a word he says.
Right.
Because I have, since he passed away, I've started listening to his show and his interviews and his events with Turning Point. I have never heard him say a single thing that's controversial.
Right.
There's a difference between disagreeing with someone and them saying hateful things. You can hate what he says, that doesn't mean he's being hateful. There's a big, big difference.
Yeah.
And, you know, being in a liberal university, I've had to endure certain comments. I've been referred to as a MAGA moron by an attorney. And so, and I just smile and go about my business. But when this went viral, someone filed ethics complaints about me. They realized I was a conservative. They started digging into my social media. They went back 6 years. They found a picture where I had donated a painting to the governor, and apparently that's unacceptable. They claimed that was an ethics violation, which it was not. They claimed that I was promoting my artwork on university time, and I was not. So all of the complaints were dismissed. But what happened was,
once the seed is planted,
exactly.
right, it doesn't matter how right we are, how perfect we can be as conservatives. As soon as somebody whispers in the ear something negative, it follows us for the rest of our lives.
Exactly. So it went up the food chain that I was a conservative. So all of the complaints were dismissed. However, I am now viewed as a racist because I followed Charlie Kirk, and just as a horrible, hateful person. And it changed the dynamic of my work culture irretrievably. But ultimately what happened was, because the painting went viral, someone commissioned me to paint, to do a version of this for J.D. Vance and for Erica Kirk. And they were able to deliver it to them, which I didn't see that coming. And as a result of that, I wound up getting a phone call from President Trump. And he was with Erica Kirk, so I'm at home, and this was in my living room. I had a portrait of Trump in my living room. I was packing up for a show, so all of my work was around me, and I look at the phone and it says Washington D.C. and I'm like, well, that's never happened before. So I answered it, and the lady said, you know, I'm here in the Oval Office. I have Donald Trump waiting. He would like to speak with you. Are you available? Yes.
There's no reason why Trump would have to call me or want to call me, but I can imagine that if I see a Washington D.C. phone number on my phone, and then someone says, "Hey, I got the president on the line," my first reaction is going to be somebody scamming me.
That
Right.
would, and
That's my first reaction.
Well, of course,
especially if
course.
I'm not expecting the call.
well, of course, but I could hear him in the background.
Oh,
So I mean, obviously that would have been my reaction as well. But I could hear him like yippity yapping in the background, and he has a pretty distinctive voice. So
Yeah.
I was like, "Holy smoke, this is legitimate!" And he got on the line and he was complimenting my artwork. He said that he was there with Erica Kirk, and that they were really moved by the artwork. But then he was so funny. He was so funny and so like kind and very different.
That's what we get from everyone who's ever spent any off-camera time, whether it's over the
Yes.
phone or in person with President Trump. They say he's the most personable person you ever want to meet.
He really is.
Right? And I don't think people realize this. It doesn't matter what you're watching. When you're watching the news and you see a congressman, a senator, or if you're watching reality television shows, Survivor, Big Brother, whatever, everything you see that is supposed to be real, it's an act. Mm-hmm. It is an act, right? You have to put on a persona for the camera, for the public, in order to facilitate your agenda, right? Whether it's a political agenda or like I said, these supposed reality shows, everyone there has an agenda, and that is to win the show, to be famous, to be on TV, to be an actor someday. But the same thing goes with politics and the news, right?
Absolutely.
The personality that comes through the camera is not the personality of that person off camera.
Except for us.
Well, pretty much.
That's
So you got
so
this,
true.
Yeah, so you got to talk to him.
I did, and he was more curious about me and what brought me to the point of doing this. And he was funny. He was talking about the artists that he said, we have so many artists at the White House, and their work is terrible. He said a kindergartner can paint better than that, and
Typical
I see
Trump.
yours. I know, he was
You're the
so
greatest.
funny.
Trust me, everybody believes me.
Exactly. It was so funny. And then he was talking about how he gets so much mail at the White House, and then he started talking to the woman who facilitated getting me to the phone, and he said, how much mail do we get? We get 1 million pieces of mail, don't we? I don't think Obama got 4 pieces of mail, but we get 1 million pieces of mail. So he was really funny. And a funny story, I was part of the halftime show that Turning Point put on. I was the Super Bowl. So they were filming that the following week, and I had signed a non-disclosure about it, and so no one was supposed to know what. Honestly, I didn't even know that's what I was going to. I just agreed to participate in this Turning Point event. Yeah. So when Trump said to me, "Oh, I'm here with Erica Kirk," and I was saying how much I appreciated Turning Point and I appreciated Charlie Kirk, and I said, as a matter of fact, I'm doing an event with Turning Point next week. And then I went, oh, I signed a non-disclosure. I wasn't supposed to say that. And I could hear Erica from the background going, you're all set. You're fine. Don't worry about it. So I got a pass on breaking my non-disclosure.
Have you ever met her?
I have not.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Well, you spoke to her.
I did speak to her. And I had met Trump on one of the national conventions. Like, he got off the plane and I was on the field, and I wave, shake, that kind of thing. That's as close as I had ever gotten to him before this phone call. So, but as a result of that, I'm now painting his portrait. Oh, wow. So I'm working on that now. I've done 2 so far. I hate them both. So hopefully third attempt is the charm.
But no, wait a minute. I know some artists.
Okay.
I was at a friend's house, and we had known each other for a while, and I saw this painting on his wall, and I loved it. I recognized the location.
Okay.
Martha's Vineyard. And
okay.
I said, hey, I know that. And he says, yeah, my dad painted it. And I had been fishing with his dad. And like we were fishing buddies. And I was like, oh, I love that picture. He says, my dad hates it. He says he hates it. He hates that I have it. He hates that it's on my wall. It's right. It's as an artist, he's his biggest critic.
Right.
Right. Well, he wanted it gone so bad that the painting ended up being a birthday gift to me.
Oh.
And it's now 25, 30 years later, it's still hanging on my wall.
Nice.
I love the picture.
Right.
But the point is, artists will paint something and hate it, but others will love it. So you said you've got 2 that you hate, and you don't think, are you going to paint over them? Are you going to do the Van Gogh thing and just paint over them?
I've done that before, but probably not. I'm going to start from scratch. And I think I'll be able to revise them at some point and probably sell them. But I look at them now and go, this is not worthy of a president. So, like when I did this one, I paint with loud music. I fling it. It's a mess. I'm covered head to toe in paint, and I step back and go, fabulous. I walk away and I'm done. But when I'm painting for the president, I'm like,
it's
wrong. It's
head,
wrong, you know. And I see faults that I probably wouldn't see otherwise.
If reviewers went onto your website, which I posted today,
Thank you.
Looked at that, all of your paintings have something to do with freedom, with liberty. But one cool thing slipped in there, and that was a Corvette. Okay, that's my dream car, for one thing. And
is it a Corvette pulling out of a garage in Delaware with a whole bunch of boxes behind it?
No.
It's not that one.
Does anybody know what Corvette I'm talking about?
I do, but I paint for the other side of the aisle, so no, it wasn't that Corvette.
But those are great. I mean,
Thank you.
The Statue of Liberty and just so many works that.
I liked them all. I was looking, I was like, man, I can't afford any of them.
Well, the good news is, if you find one that you like, most of them are available in prints as well.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of them, especially sort of the iconic things like the Augusta National Golf Course, things like that.
You had a few pop culture stuff on there too.
I
that
do.
were pretty good.
Yeah.
Like those.
Yeah. You know, I paint what moves me. Mm-hmm. So, you know, this initially started out, I was a grassroots activist for years and years. And I had 6 kids at home, so I wasn't really painting. I didn't have a lot of spare time. And then it got to the point that I was burned out. Politics got mean, politics got ugly, and I went, you know what? My time is more valuable than this. So I kind of took a step back. And when COVID hit, I didn't have to drive in to work anymore, so I was home. I had a lot more free time. So it launched this as a business. So instead of just a hobby, I said, okay, this is the time. God's giving me the time. He's given me the gift. Let's see. Yeah, and it was a way to express my political views without starting an argument. Like, nobody's going to walk by a painting of the Statue of Liberty and go, "Oh, I hate liberty."
Right.
You know, but if I
don't speak too fast.
Well,
we've got some elements in this country that actually would.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But in general, they'll walk, if they don't like art, they just keep going. Whereas, you know, if I'm standing at a microphone and I'm expressing my opinion, people are going to start throwing darts at me, which happened. I've run for office, you know, things get mean, things get ugly, and I'm out, I'm done. But now that I'm participating in a way that is, well, it's a lot more enjoyable for me, it's a lot less controversial, but it also allows me to truly support things that are meaningful to me, whether it's Turning Point, you know, with the Turning Point prints, a portion of the proceeds will go to Turning Point.
Nice.
So I've done, for a number of years, I've donated to various veterans causes where, you know, auction items. So they get a painting, they put it up for auction,
Nice.
you know, they raise $5,000 or $6,000. Well, that gives me such a sense of accomplishment that, you know, I've never been in a position to donate that kind of money to a cause before, but now I can contribute meaningfully to either veterans events or Turning Point or pro-life causes or things that truly mean something to me, and I feel like it's making a difference. So it's been really worthwhile in a number of ways.
So, and you're from New Hampshire, originally Nashua.
Correct.
Right.
So I grew up in Nashua.
Right. You went to school at Southern New Hampshire, or
so Nashua High South. Before it was
your next level. Did you go to?
I went to SNU.
SNU.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did.
And what did you study there?
Well, so my undergrad was just English, and then I was gonna go to law school, believe it or not, and then COVID hit, and so art became the more logical path. And so then my master's degree is communications and public relations.
And so you communicate through your work.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've got a number of these out.
I
but,
do.
But they're all original.
Correct.
But they look similar?
Correct. So I did the.
How does that? Yeah. How do you do that? Like how do you copy your own work or?
So I'll use the same source material. And so there's the picture of Charlie praying. And so it was funny because when I was talking to a good friend of mine about doing this, I had such a vision. I want to do this painting of Charlie, and it's going to have so many colors. It's going to be so bright and so vibrant. And then I take the paintbrush to the canvas, and it came out very dark, very navy blues, purples, and it nothing like I was originally expecting. And then, other times, like there'll be more blues, there'll be more oranges. So they're similar. They're the same. He's doing the same thing. The eyes are generally the same because that's sort of the focal point of the painting.
Yeah.
But there may be one that's more pinks and oranges. There may be one that's more purple. And then I did a large one for a friend of mine. It was a commission, and it was I embedded Bible verses in the background. So he had family verses, and he wanted to give it as a gift to his son. So I put those. It's like, you have to include it. Write it on the back. Do something. And I went, wait a minute. Why don't I just put it into the background? So it's really subtle, but if you know what you're looking at, you can see it. And then I did write it on the back as well. So they're all different, but clearly.
Do you keep track of?
I do.
Which one was your original and
I have a numbering system I can show you. Does that work? Can we turn it around? So, and I didn't number this one. Okay. Okay, I do. So it'll number like 2026 for the year, and then 001, and then an O for original, 002. Original, 003 original, and then whichever one I use to make the prints out of, it would be like 001 print, so there'd be a P. So there's, I've done, I want to say 5 of these total, but they're different sizes, slightly different colors, and they're all originals.
So what ones do you have that are prints? And how does one find those?
So they are on the website.
Okay. So they would order directly through you?
Yep, they can order it directly through me through the
I'm sure
website.
Our viewers are going to be interested.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. So I work with a gallery that does like a digital capture, and when they do the reproductions, they are it's archival ink. So they will not fade for 200 years. It's literally the level of ink that they would have at the Museum of Fine Art.
Oh, wow.
So, and then I sign and number each one. So it, I've sold 17 prints so far. So the next one that would go would be, 0018.
18.
Yeah, and then with my signature on it as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about your activism, because you were doing that obviously before you were able to do this. And now, were you active in New Hampshire or somewhere else, and what roles did you play?
Sure. So I started in New Hampshire back in the olden days, and my sister got me plugged into politics, and I was attending events, and then I met my now ex-husband and moved to Georgia, and that's where it really took off for me. So what started out as a zoning issue, I lived in this little mill town in Georgia. What a culture shock. And there was this opportunity, this four-way stop. They wanted to change the zoning. And I went to a zoning meeting, which led to commission meetings, which led to what the hell is going on here? They don't much care for that in the South, in case you're wondering. So I ran for county commissioner.
Oh.
And I lost. I ran against a church janitor, and they preferred him to me.
But he was a local.
He was a local. He was
Yeah.
born and raised there.
Yeah.
But what happened was I started documenting what was going on at all the meetings, and I started blogging about it, and I launched an FBI investigation. So it was one of those things where you say, well, first they did A, then they did B, then they did C, now we're voting on this. What is actually happening here? So I wasn't editorializing, I wasn't saying bad commissioners, I was saying this is what they're doing. And then you look at it and go, they're on the take. There was no doubt they were on the take. So I ran for the seat, I lost, but I got the FBI involved. Which was so funny because I'm home with literally 5 toddlers, and we're sitting around my kitchen table, and I'm like, there's oatmeal on the chairs. I'm just like, I was horrified, and I've got FBI agents, and I'm just like, could I not have gotten the oatmeal off the chairs before they came? And we kind of went through what the county commissioners were doing, and then I didn't hear from her for a while. Well, they wound up following up with me, and they said, absolutely, we've got these laws broken, and you're right, this guy they've hired, he's on the take. And they said, but you know what? We're talking $8 or $10 million. That's really not worth our time.
What? Oh my God.
Yeah, that's small potatoes to them. And I'm like, it's big potatoes to us in small town Georgia. So from that was sort
That's maddening.
right.
Whose administration was that FBI under?
So that would have been 2006. 5. It would have been 2005.
Okay. And the FBI wasn't worried about that, right? Well, we were in the middle of a terrorist war at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's still maddening.
It was so maddening because we were
Well,
being.
that means it's still taking place. No one was held to account for the fraud and the mismanagement.
Exactly.
And it's probably happening all over the country.
It is, and
California's now passing a law, and Newsom will probably sign it
Oh.
to prevent investigative journalism from investigating wrongdoing
Right.
at the state level. So we don't care about that here. That's incredible.
What I wonder is who's okay with that?
It's more maddening for Georgia, as someone who's lived in Georgia, that used to be a red state.
Oh, don't even get me started about Fulton County. I watched every minute of every trial that involved Fonnie Willis, and it was so frustrating. But in any case, so that all of that launched me into just grassroots politics. I started supporting candidates that I liked and appreciated. Karen Handel was the Secretary of State, and she's now a very good friend of mine, but she also ran for governor. And she was the first Secretary of State to come up with legislation for voter ID that actually withstood Supreme Court scrutiny.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. So she was the pioneer of that, and so I would just get behind certain candidates that I was in favor of. I really thought they were doing the right thing, and I wound up on the GOP state committee. I wound up on the district committee. We had some fraud and embezzlement there, and that seemed to be my wheelhouse. Yeah, and now I'm thankfully back in New Hampshire. I've been kind of back and forth the last 20 years, and now I'm here, although I'm still I'm still back and forth. So I'm just starting to really get plugged in. I'm working with the Bedford Republican Committee. I'm their secretary. They needed a secretary, so here I am, working to design some T-shirts for them for the
Nice.
250th celebration. So those should be on my website soon as well. So yeah, trying to get as busy and plugged in here as I was there.
So I work in a very liberal industry as well.
Okay.
And some of my coworkers I've been with for over 25 years
Mm-hmm.
through multiple companies.
Okay.
Right? And but it's all about keeping my mouth shut
Right.
at work, right?
For sure.
But folks know who are, but you just don't do the politics at work, and you obviously were doing the same.
Exactly.
Were you in Georgia or New Hampshire at the time that you had the ethics complaint against you?
I was in Georgia.
Okay.
So
That makes more sense because
Yeah.
I feel like you can have a political view in New Hampshire and for the most part not be chastised for it, aside
Right.
from Lisa, who now works
Please,
for
Yeah.
Turning Point.
okay.
Lisa.
So Lisa Mazur's
Mazur.
state rep,
Right.
and she went to a school board meeting in the town that she's a representative of.
Okay.
Yeah, this
And
is
she spoke up about and or against LGBTA type,
Right.
the trans issues,
Right.
men and women's bathrooms. And the very next morning, she was fired from her job.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, we've had her on several times.
But she now works for Turning Point.
wonderful.
She actually, it was a kind of devastating for her. Because of that whole interaction, it kind of opened this door where she became a Turning Point volunteer and organizer here in New Hampshire, and she had to go to Arizona to train.
Okay.
She met Charlie Kirk,
Oh.
and a week later,
He was shot.
Oh my
like
gosh.
she had just met him.
Yeah.
Anyway, aside from that incident, I've been fairly lucky in that, people know who I am, but I go to work and it's work.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't have that experience.
Not at all.
So you were working with a university down there?
I am. I'd rather not say specifically which one, but yeah.
Well, some of the universities down, or some of the colleges down there are reasonable as far as that goes. I know professors from, say, Kennesaw State, who are openly conservative,
Okay.
right? So
Interesting.
I won't make you say that.
Well-
I'm just curious about that environment, and especially, it is the worst of the liberal environments is universities.
It is. It
So
is.
did that creep up on you slowly, or was it like sudden? Like as soon as this goes viral, are you?
It was sudden and immediate right after I did the painting of Charlie Kirk. And, I would always
People
have...
who were your coworkers and everything was fine are all of a sudden shunning you?
Exactly. And they would... And what would happen is they would make insulting comments about conservatives or about President Trump. They just assume everyone is liberal, is what happens. And I just would keep my mouth shut and not say anything and not participate. And once I was outed as a conservative, it just went dead silent. I'm just persona non grata, and that discussion no longer happens anywhere around me.
Are you still
So-
employed?
I am still employed with them. I work remotely, so I don't have the
Well,
face-to-face
that helps a little
interaction.
bit.
It does, but I'm unlikely to get my remote agreement
Signed.
Extended?
because of being a conservative. So we'll see. I honestly believe God has a plan, and whatever is meant to be will be, and I'm okay with that. but I love health insurance. So hopefully, you know, can hang on to my job a little
you
longer.
said something early on about the voice being silenced, and folks not listening to him. Folks who don't listen to him or didn't listen to him have no idea who he is or what he stands for, and just immediately say racist, misogynistic, all of these things. We've seen this before, and when this happened, like you, as soon as I heard about it, it was a Wednesday, so it was the day of the show, and we had a completely different topic planned. But of course, that was out the window. But I was in tears too, because he has been a voice, and
sure.
he started filling a void for me that went away when Rush Limbaugh passed away.
Yes.
I started listening to Limbaugh when I was in high school, like immediately as soon as he went national. And I always lamented the fact that on the East Coast, he was on when I couldn't listen to him. So during the summer, I would listen to him. And
Right.
then I worked as a traveling computer technician.
Okay.
And I would always get to work in the morning, and I would pull the tickets that were the longest drive. Right? And
So you could listen to him.
I get it.
Sometimes it was a 4-hour drive, right? So, hey, I got my
I love
Rush,
it.
right? And what was unique about Rush, and then it kind of got picked up by Charlie, was the way that they were able to articulate things that we feel, we believe, we've always believed, but they had an art with language
Correct.
that none of us are able to replicate.
Right.
Right? Here I am on the show trying, but I have a lot of I cannot articulate the way these men could.
Right.
And I felt a loss when Rush passed away because it was the same thing. It was people who never listened to him hated him.
Right.
People who hated him but opened up their minds enough to listen to him said, wait a minute, that's not what I was told.
Exactly.
This is not the person I was told. I was told he was racist, he was hateful,
misogynistic.
all of these things. But Rush always said, listen to me for 3 shows.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. Listen to me for 3 shows,
Yeah.
and it will change your life forever. And anyone who actually went through with that challenge came out the other side a conservative. Same with Charlie.
Right.
We noticed it. Unfortunately, it took his assassination. After his assassination, enough open-minded, independent-minded individuals started listening and said, wait a minute, that's not who I was told he was.
For sure.
Right? But the folks who still hate, the folks that hated on you, the folks that made your work environment miserable, they got it so ingrained, they will not open their minds long enough to listen. They won't listen to a 15-minute clip. They will listen to the 2 sentences that the CNN anchor told them
He
to
said.
listen to.
Right.
And that's all. They don't have the attention span to open. But anyone who did have that attention span changed their mind. And I saw hundreds of those, again, unfortunately, after he was assassinated.
Right.
And I think that's what you were talking about, is these people who just, they've got a closed mind, they've got a belief system, and they don't want anything to shatter that world.
Right.
But as soon as you get somebody, it's almost like you got to tie them down and force them to listen.
Right. Oh, for sure.
Right? Of course, that's the antithesis of who we are. We don't force anything on anybody.
So true. One thing, so I have 2 sons, and I have 6 kids total, 2 sons. And I see, and they're in their 20s. And so that is the generation that's being impacted by him and the things that he's saying.
Like I said, he filled a void that was my generation as a teenager,
Yes.
college, 20-something. It was Rush. He was that person
Exactly.
for this generation.
Exactly.
And when he passed, it was just it was a gut punch for me. It's like, ugh, and I can't think of any names or anyone who is that articulate now for your children, for your
Exactly.
who's out there
Nobody.
doing what he did.
Nobody.
And as much as we want to continue that with Turning Point, and Turning Point's doing a fabulous job,
Absolutely.
it's irreplaceable. It's going to be another generation before we find someone as powerful.
For sure. Charlie had the ability to listen with love, to disagree with you and have a different opinion, but still truly care for someone. And he saw biblical principles could help people that he disagreed with. You know, so I've been single for 13 years and I don't date at all. It's exhausting and for a variety of reasons. But what I saw him doing was teaching an entire generation that women are valuable, mothers are valuable. That doesn't really exist out there. You know, part of the reason
That's the antithesis of the progressive feminist movement.
Well,
right?
exactly.
It's gone way beyond its intent, right? It's been bastardized by the elite.
Completely. And it was so refreshing as a mother, but also as a single woman, to see a man truly love women in their intended purpose in this world. You know, I'm successful in my day job, I'm successful in my business, I've raised 6 wonderful children. I have value that feminists do not see at all. And there's an entire generation of men who don't see that in women as well. Like the dating culture and the apps and all of that, it breeds a culture that is very dismissive of women and their traditional role. And it was just so refreshing to see him saying it's okay to believe this. It's okay to appreciate stay-at-home moms, and right. It gave me hope. It really gave me hope for my kids' generation, and to see that extinguished was just heartbreaking.
Like you said, hope for the next generation. We're seeing a
turning point.
A turning point, and you can see that with or without the Turning Point organization. The turning has been happening for I would say midway through the Biden administration, right? I mean, we're starting to see a backing off of some of these just absurd issues.
Right.
We're seeing more folks valuing home education,
Mm-hmm.
stay-at-home moms, valuing life over abortion. We're starting to see that.
Mm-hmm.
It's starting to take hold. But we're still in a dangerous position with the other side advocating for open borders and letting criminals back on the street after they stab somebody in the neck on a train, right? The absurdity of the liberal appointed judge, the
Mm-hmm.
judges appointed by the Obama administration, the Biden administration, and even the Clinton administration, right? We would think that, 35 years later that some of these folks would be retiring, but they're still making these judgments. It's like, are you really that stupid that you're going to make a judgment like this? And then so that danger is still there because of the swamp.
Mm-hmm.
The swamp is still got a firm grip on the control of this society, but as a populace, I can see the turning, right? We are changing our views, and it is not you're not automatically a pariah just because you're a conservative anymore. We used to keep our mouths shut all
Right.
the time, right? 15, 20 years ago, I wouldn't have a show and work at a very liberal, in a very liberal industry.
Right.
Right? Now I do, but they understand that I can keep it separate.
Right.
Right?
For sure.
But that's not something that was the case 20 years ago, right? So I see it turning, and I see hope for the next generation.
Well, what I see is that people who were silenced or who were disengaged are now stepping up and saying, I'm not going to be quiet anymore.
Yeah, that's a big piece of it.
It's a
We
big
have to tell
piece
people
of it.
that it's okay to voice your opinion.
For sure, for sure. I've got two partners that work with me in my art business, and one of them was never engaged politically, and she actually describes herself as formerly liberal.
Formally.
Well, but
Yeah.
with the assassination, she went, I'm done. I am absolutely done, and she is one of the most outspoken conservatives I've ever met, and I think that's what the death of Charlie did, was give us a voice to stand up and say, I'm entitled to my opinion just as much as anybody else. What really kills me about the whole thing is, as a conservative, we can state what our opinion is, like the state rep you mentioned who spoke up against LGBTQRST.
It's not really against LGBT. It was the transgender bathroom issue.
Right,
Yeah.
right, which is common sense to you and I. But, I will say this is my position. People that I work with who are liberal will say Charlie Kirk deserved to die because of his opinions.
What?
That's
There's no conservative ever who ever said that a liberal deserved to die. No one ever
Exactly.
said that Kennedy deserved to die or his brother deserved to die. No one's ever said that.
Right.
And if we ever did, that would be a problem, right? We've never advocated for that, but they try to push the idea that we have.
right, right. And I think we police our own. If someone does come out and say something inappropriate, Republicans or
they're gone.
conservatives circle around them and go, no. That's not okay to say that. We have, I believe, we have decorum in how we present our ideas. I can love the person and disagree with their political positions, but I find that when people disagree with my political positions, they want harm to come to me.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
And that we've talked about that on the show before. That's a product of the media, the movies, and the fact that controversy sells.
Mm-hmm.
And so you don't turn on the news in the evening to get the news. You turn on the news to get them to get your attention to sell commercial time, right? Because if the more controversial the story they tell, the more that you're going to be glued to it, and that sells. So they've spent the last 40 years dividing us on purpose.
For
And
sure.
they continue
For
to
the
do
shock
it.
factor. The shock factor is
Absolutely.
what's selling, and that's what you get on TV. You don't get the actual news. It's not Walter Cronkite anymore.
No, it's propaganda, and the sole purpose is to divide us. They have more control over us if we're divided, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I think, now that you're here, you should start checking out some of the state reps. Lisa would be one, obviously, because
I would
she's
love
very
to meet her.
powerful. She's done a great job. She's fought back the waves of people who hate her. She got her bill passed the other day against trans.
Wonderful.
So she's been working hard at it. And if you start going through, I'm seeing more reps now doing that, except maybe me and Gary when he was alive. Gary was the original person. Josh was his his co-host. And Gary Hopper started this show quite a while ago now, right? How many years do you think?
I'm thinking like 2012 or 13, maybe even before that.
And he didn't say much, but when he walked to the well to talk, people listened. No one got up and walked into the ante room when Gary went out there. And he did it with a sense of humor as well, which made it, interesting. But
one of the things, there was that period of time where there was Gary, yourself, John Burt.
Yep.
There was a few very conservative reps, and in a liberal controlled. And folks who would speak their mind, and also get along with the other side. But at the same time, you would have the liberal contingent come up and say, "Hey, Gary, do you plan on speaking for or against this bill?" And if Gary says yes, then they'll go, "All right, I'll withdraw it."
I love it.
That's very true. That's extremely true.
Yeah, and we need more people like that,
right?
Who are not afraid to get up there and speak the truth without holding back. And Charlie was one of them. And
it's a big loss. For sure. But to your point that God has a plan. He had a plan for Charlie, and I know Erica's talked about that as well with her faith. And I think that's the difference. I really believe that. It's faith that makes the difference.
Agreed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Agreed. Yeah.
Let's talk about some of your other art. I mean, you've got Charlie here, and you've got several prints. You can be hired to commission and
absolutely
in murals as well, right?
Right. So my next big job is I'm doing a 40-foot mural on the side of a building in a town square, and so what does the townsfolk think of that? Well, it's not political at all. So it's
it's okay. Right?
It's an antique.
Was there a vote?
Yeah. Well, there was. Fortunately, I was the only person who submitted artwork for it. So, but it's an antique farm truck and some peaches. And
how does that happen when someone hires you to do a mural? Obviously, this one's a town, so but do you have to submit like a sketch? Like, here's what I plan to do? Or do they hire you because they've seen the rest of your work and they trust that you're going to throw up something that represents what they're looking for? Do you have to submit something?
A combination of all of that. So it depends. It depends on who is making the final decision. Generally, when I do murals, I'll meet with whoever the person is, and they'll say, "I'd like this included, that included." They may supply me with, 6 or 8 pictures of things that they would like. I've done a couple for Jekyll Island that are in Georgia.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So who's ever sponsoring the mural will give me some ideas of what they want. And then with this one that I'm doing in the town square, I took a canvas, I don't know, it was probably 4 feet across, and I did a mock-up of what it will look like, and then submitted it to them, and they said, well, we don't like this here, so let's get rid of that and replace it with something else. And so then I have a final version of, this is approximately what the side of the building is going to look like, and then that's what gets voted on. But some people that I've worked with that do trust me, they just tell me their ideas, I put it together, and generally they say, yeah, that's great.
Have you done the side of a building before?
That's
got to be interesting.
This is the first side of a building I've done.
Will this be the biggest piece of work that you've ever done?
It will be the biggest piece of work I've ever done as well.
Ladders and
there will be scaffolding. There will be I keep catching my foot here.
Can we bring cameras and film it?
Sure.
It sounds like a Three Stooges thing, right? Be up on a ladder.
I'm going to have a scissor lift, so I'm going to be able to drive myself around.
Oh, wow.
And a good friend of mine said, well, I'm going to go out there. I can't have you working at night all by yourself. I said, I'm going to have my best friend Glock with me, so I'll be just fine. So, because I'll paint at night. So I have to.
Yeah, because you can't, right? You wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Traffic, and then I have to project. from the smaller one that I did, I will then project,
have a-
and then I'll
Project it on the building.
project it on the building and paint from there.
Wow.
So that's the plan. We'll see how it goes. I am
You're gonna be here
anticipating
in
problems.
Hampshire or
No,
Georgia?
this one's going to be in Georgia.
In a warmer climate.
Yeah, yes. And I'm actually hoping that I'm like, let me go right now because it's going to start to get really hot down
Oh,
there.
yeah,
So-
yeah, it's going to be real hot in June.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So, yeah, I'd like to get in before it hits the 90s, 100s humidity that, you know.
And what does that do to the paint? The heat?
That's not that big of a deal.
It
That'll be
isn't?
okay.
Okay.
So I work in acrylics, and then I'll put like a lacquer over it when it's done. So it should be fine. And they're gonna prime the building. So we'll
There
see.
used to be this artist that would do the sides of buildings with fish, and I can't remember who he was, but in Baltimore he did one on the side of the one of the buildings there. I remember it was pretty neat actually, and seeing today's Earth Day, Happy Earth Day.
Happy Earth Day.
So that should be a challenge. That's quite interesting.
Yeah, it will be a challenge, but I'm up for it.
So, so you're going to be out in the middle of the night
Right.
in Georgia, near Atlanta?
South of Atlanta. Yeah,
South
about
of Atlanta.
30 miles south of Atlanta.
You're going to be in the dark, behind a building, wearing a sidearm,
Correct?
doing graffiti.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
The police are going to drive by and say, "Hey, what's up?" Right?
Yeah.
That sounds. Yeah. It sounds.
Well, I probably so.
If I'm a cop and I'm driving by and I see this
Woman painting the side of a building, right?
Well, the good news is that I will clear it with the police beforehand.
Okay.
And when I moved from Georgia to New Hampshire, I had cases of coffee mugs with some artwork that was Thin Blue Tears, and it was supporting the police. So I dropped off cases of coffee mugs to all of the police departents because I didn't want to move
bribes.
them. Bribes, exactly. So we have some established goodwill.
Well, if you need to get bailed out for graffitiing a building in Georgia, let us know.
Okay, I certainly will. That'd make for an interesting follow-up interview.
All right. Real quick, let the viewers know your website where they can go and look at paying for the big bucks, for the big ones, or getting a print.
Prints. So the website is McGinnArt.com, MCGINN Art, A-R-T. My Facebook is also McGinn Art, Instagram McGinn.